Hey there, welcome. It's Karen Lanoux from No Limits Businesswoman, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. Our topic is what to do to own your value. So, just a little bit about me before, if you've not seen me before and you're just joining me for the very first time. Again, my name's Karen, and my business is called No Limits Businesswoman, and I help women in business to grow their business, to achieve their big business goals, to take that next steps towards that. Often, we in dealing with other things that come up, because these are symptoms, are self-sabotage, procrastination, overwhelm, and the imposter syndrome. So that's what I do. That's how I help women to actually just do extraordinary things in their business. So today, just the idea about what to do to own your value. And this is a huge topic for women, because so often what we do is we are not showing up. We're not actually, we don't want to be braggarts, right? We don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much because we've really been taught not to do that. So what this results in is we're not speaking up. So if we're working in corporate and we're in meetings, or or even if we are not working in corporate, we have our own business, we may not necessarily be speaking up in meetings like we need to, or speaking up and telling other people about what we do and who we are. And on top of that, we're not being visible. And so visible just means we're not out there. We're not projecting ourselves out there and our expertise. The Wonder Woman that you absolutely are, you're not putting that out there. So you're not putting it out on social media. Again, as an entrepreneur, if you're not putting this out in social media, if you're not putting this out in podcasts or videos or Facebook Lives like this, nobody knows about you. This also shows up in the fact that we're not taking credit for the things that we've done. We're not taking credit for these amazing results that we help other people get, or businesses get, or companies that we work for. We're not taking credit for that. So that's, again, that's what happens when we're not owning our value. But again, a lot of this has to do with the fact that we just don't want to brag, or maybe we like to give credit to everybody else, right? We like to say, well, I didn't do it alone. Well, nobody does anything alone, but often if you have to kind of take a look at, am I the catalyst to these amazing things happening to me and to my people that are around me? So you need to own that. What happens when we don't do this? We often get passed over. So again, if you're in corporate, you'll get passed over for promotions or for these cool projects that are happening. And so that's one of the things that will happen. Again, in our business, people just don't know what you do. They don't know you, and sometimes they don't know you exist because you're actually not putting yourself out there. You're not, again, taking credit for all the great things that you've done. And what happens from that is that we can start to feel stuck. We can start to feel like we're having no movement at all, no momentum in our business anymore, or lives. When in fact, we used to be the ones that used to snap, we get the stuff done, right? And all of a sudden it kind of stops. What also starts to happen is when we're getting passed over, or things aren't happening in the way that we're used to, or people are not recognizing us for the experts that we are, we start to feel badly about ourselves. And that affects our self-esteem. And then that starts to have an overarching impact on all parts of our lives. So really, one of the things you want to do is not do that anymore, right? Because ultimately, what happens from that, it's kind of like this domino effect. What happens from that is then we're actually not achieving our big goals. We're not moving towards them, and we're not living our purpose. That big purpose, that thing that we've been dreaming about for a long time, and ultimately, in the end, we're not making the money we deserve. Okay, so how do we get over that? Well, this is a huge topic, and I could talk about this for a very long time, but I want to keep our video really short here today. I'll just give an example of one of the things that I did. When I was in HR and working with people to help them find work, what I found over time, because I did that for a very long time, is that people wouldn't give me credit. for helping them. Like, they'd go off and I'd help them with their resumes. I'd help them, actually line up for the job. I'd help them with their interviews. Their questions. I'd get them all set up for that. And then they go and then they get the job. And then they'd say, oh yeah, well, so I was just like, I did all this. Like they take personal credit for it. Now that's awesome. But what happened, if I started to take this personally and started to think that, oh, I'm not getting acknowledged for this. Maybe I didn't really do anything. Maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was. What happened, because the people that I work with, this happened all the time, and good for them again for taking ownership of the things that, that they did get the job and they could have something to feel good about. But if I could not have stayed in that work for all the time that I did if I relied on somebody else's input, their acknowledgement, their praise for me to feel good about myself and to actually own my value. And so it really was an internal dialogue, because here's what happens. This guy, the gremlin, he can sit on your shoulder and say, yeah, you're not that good, right? You really don't know what you're doing. You're actually, yeah, they did it all. You did nothing, right? And, that's the kind of inner dialogue that we can have. And it's not true. When people don't acknowledge, when we've helped other people, or we've helped our business, the businesses that we're working for, or the business that we're in and our clients, if we're not getting that feedback, yet we see these results happening, it says more about them than you, right? It says more about them, their inability to actually give you praise, because there's a lot of people who cannot do that. They are so self-absorbed, or people live in their own worlds, and that's just the way we all are, right? But what I find for a lot of people is that they're not giving that praise. They're not giving that acknowledgement. And so if you need that, you're going to burn out really quickly, because you're not going to feel very good on an ongoing basis, which means you're not going to take actions to take you forward, to move you forward. And so again, this is an inner dialogue. It's a shift. It's a switch. And sometimes, again, we don't do these things. We don't, again, pat ourselves on our back, or tell people who we are and what we can do for them. Or again, say, hey, yeah, I'm going to take credit for that amazing result that you got. When we don't do that there's a limiting belief there, right? There's something about us it's not right for us to speak up, or it's not right for us to, again, to be a braggart. And as women, we've been taught that. It's like, don't be too big for your britches. Don't speak when you're not spoken to. I mean, as children, that happens for us. But sometimes we bring that forward, and I didn't. So one of the things that I actually want you to do, and again, what happens, to deal with all those limiting beliefs, you need strategies, you need tools to actually start to shift and change that. And it can change. The change can happen really quickly, and when it changes, it is amazing, because all of a sudden, all kinds of opportunities start to open up for you. All of a sudden, people are clamoring actually to know more about you, or to hire you, or to move you up, a level, because when you have that confidence, then other people see that, and other people will reflect that back to you. So one of the strategies I'm going to give you today is a really simple strategy that you can start to do to actually start to reframe this for yourself, is something I call a brag book. And so a brag book, and I'm sorry, I actually meant to bring it in here. I have this beautiful brag book. This beautiful leather bound journal that one of my clients gave to me years ago, and I never used it for a very long time because it was so precious that I didn't know what would be the best way to use it. And so, but I started using it as my brag book. And what I mean by a brag book is that you are you're putting down all the things that you did well, that you can pat yourself on the back for, right? That you helped this person transform. You write down any of the compliments that people give you, because what happens often is when things don't go well, or people say things to you about your business or your work, and it's not the best, it's not the best feedback, or it's not the best comment. We actually repeat that more in our mind than we do the really good things that happen to us on a regular basis. but we just flash over them because we think, oh, well, that person's biased, or, oh yeah, that was no big deal. And so we don't make a big deal of it when you absolutely should. Because when you are owning your value, when you are owning how amazing you are and what you contribute again in your world, to the people around you, in your job and or your business, when you actually start to own that and live it, have that confidence in it, it again spills over into your world, and people reflect that back to you, and it will reflect back to you in more opportunities, better opportunities, a promotion if you're in corporate world, it will, or again, invited to great projects to be a part of. People will call on you for information or your opinion about stuff, but you need to own your value. You need to speak up. Because, and look, that's why, you'll see lots of men actually going, having those successes, because that's what they do. They don't, so many men, not all men, but so many men who, the people who are successful will actually speak their value. They will speak up. They will speak their opinion and mostly it will work out for them. So we want to take a page out of that. So again, how you do this, how you start to shift this and turn it around, without other strategies and tools. The one tool that you can start to use, the one strategy you can start to use, is the brag book, where you start to write down all the good things and then you go back and refer to it on an ongoing basis. So when you're having those moments of low self-esteem, when you're not feeling so great about yourself, then that's when you can actually refer back to the book and go, oh yeah, that happened and that happened. Oh yeah, I'm pretty good. And then again, it just builds up your self-confidence. That's what you want to do, because when you do this, when you start to shift this around and start to own your value, you will see amazing things happen. And there's so many things. Again, you'll start to feel better. You'll start to make strides on your big goals in your business life. You will start to feel like you're living your purpose. You'll start to feel bolder, and you will actually also start to increase your income as well. I've seen it over and over and over again. So that's what I want for you. If you want more information, if you want some help with this, why don't you connect with me? I have a few spots left in my mastermind. My No Limits Mastermind right now is an amazing group of women. Would love to have you. And so why don't you just set up, it's a 15-minute call. Let's see, just off the bat, can I help you with this? Are you ready to actually make some big changes where you can get more confidence and take quantum leaps in your business life right now? And so all you need to do is go to nolimitsbusinesswoman.com/talk. And again, it's just a quick 15-minute, no strings, no anything. Let's just chat between two gals. Let's just have that chat. So I'm going to leave that with you today. Again, this was what to do to own your value. Own your value, girl. You are amazing. I don't know you, but I know you are amazing. So I'm so glad you were here with me today. You deserve to live a no limits life. See you next time.